all, Natalie here, and it is time for the group hop for Mixed Media Frenzy. This month, we are doing this lovely layout by Sanderin de Bruin. I'm sure I butchered that and I'm sorry, but that is a beautiful layout. And I am going to use this little picture of my pup. Her name is Belle. And I'm going to kind of use a mauve, pink, brown color palette. So I have watercolor paper and I'm just taking a few different ink colors and I'm swiping them across the page, making the page saturated in their color. I will swipe a couple of colors that I am not going to use. That red color I don't end up using. The pink color kind of changes. I just end up liking the Distress Oxide and the pigment inks. They just they're pigment inks. They're full of pigment. That's just what I love. So I use this color box, little petal pigment ink. So I go over that pink color with that and it just ends up being so much richer and beautiful. So I let those dry. And while those are drying, I use my Versa Mark ink and this gorgeous copper glitter embossing powder by Wow Embossing. And I do the same technique. I rub the ink all over the page and then heat emboss it for a glittery paper. And I do run my glitter paper through my die cut machine all the time, but I just wanted this very specific copper color. So I'll let you watch the satisfying melting of the embossing powder. If you hear noise, that is Belle herself, the star of the layout, who thinks every time I begin to speak, it is her time to come get pets. So that is what I'm doing. I'm petting her while I do my voiceover. I added some clear gesso on this gray background. And I'm going to, in the layout, you can see she has some white kind of die cut behind her circular photo. I'm going to throw it up. There it is. And so I just used some die cuts to frame my photo as well. One of them is Christmas and one of them says love, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to take that part out. Now to do the drips behind the photo. So I'm going to predefine my area. So I'm using water to define the very thin area of drippage that I want. And then I'm filling that in with my watercolor. And I chose this like maroon color. And then I'm going to go back after that dries and do 2 additional strips. And I'm going to do like a brown color with maybe some copper glittery bits in it. And you can use any kind of watercolor or even the same inks that I use to color the papers to die cut those beautiful leaves. And those leaves are by Momenta and they have little insets in them that emboss as well. So you get the like veins on the leaves, which is cool. So there's the dried stripes. And now I'm using glue, a little glue stick, and I'm just kind of like spreading it in random spots on the page. And I'm going to use these gorgeous copper foil, what is it called? I'm sorry, gilding flakes, but it's with copper, not gold. They're by Heidi Swap, and they're just so light and fluffy and very satisfying to use. So what I'm doing is I'm just placing them on top of the glue stick spots. And they are so pillowy. They're like little clouds when they come out, and they come like kind of layered up, and you can just use one layer and that's sufficient. So now I'm making sure to tap down all of them on top of all of the glue area. Then I'm taking a very stiff brush and I'm rubbing off the excess. So anything that is not stuck down to the glue stick area is going to come off, and it comes off in flakes. Still a little bit messy, but I just like dumped it in the trash and it was fine. But I love the way that looks. It gives just these little streaks of metallic copper foil, and I love it. It's so pretty. So we're done with that. Basically, we're done with the background. And I'm just using my heat gun to blow off any of the excess flakes that aren't stuck down. And now I'm going to use the photo and then the little frames that I cut out in bright white, and I'm going to stick them on top of a piece of just like reused foam that I had used to die cut some things, and just kind of pop it off the page. I'm going to stick it right down there in the center. Isn't she cute? She's rotten. She's absolutely rotten, y'all. And now I'm going to use the leaves that I had die cut to kind of do a swoosh around the circle. And in the original layout, she kind of like does a, see, she doesn't go all the way around. I don't know. It's very restrained and beautiful, and it's definitely not something that I would probably typically go to, and I'm so happy with how this layout turned out. I like to try new things and do things that are a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, or something that I wouldn't normally just kind of come up with on my own. So I had a lot of fun with this. And then the color palette, like it was kind of inspired by the pink blanket that Bella's laying on, and it's just so pretty and I love it. And Heidi Swap had a collection that kind of had these colors in it last year, and I can't think of the name of it, but I kind of always had that color scheme in my head, and I wear a lot of these colors too, so definitely a big fan. And then in the original layout, you can see she had a few little white stems on top of the photo as well, so that's why I added these. I actually cut 4 and I only end up using 2. But I just love it. It's so pretty. I'll take this chance to let you know that this is a hop. Every last Friday of the month in the Mixed Media Frenzy group, they put up a sketch, and everyone who wants to can participate. I'll link the Facebook group down below, but also make sure you hop around and see how everyone else interpreted the sketch, because it's so fun. Or it's not a sketch, but the scrap lift. It's so fun and beautiful. And I can't wait to see what everyone did. So I have these copper thickers. These are from One Canoe 2. May they rest in peace. And so it's going to say Dream Pup, and I'm going to do journaling, but I'll do that off camera. And then I add a few of the hearts from the thicker sheet as well. I just did 3 because odd number is visually pleasing and it creates a triangle. And then something was missing, and it took me a minute, and I'm like, you know what? I try to go a little too far off of what I normally do, and I always add splatters, and I didn't add splatters, and that's what it was missing. So once I just chose like one of the ink colors that I use to go back through and add really tiny, very delicate splatters, that's exactly what the page needed, and it felt so complete to me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe. And yeah, check out the hop down below. See how everyone else interpreted this scrap lift. It was so fun. So thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.